Maps are best as a communication device when you use colour to emphasize the message. The key, though, is to ensure you have the right balance of colours. Remember, colours are used to make features stand out from the background, particularly on screen. We do not have much time to interpret the map, so keep it simple. Where possible, use conventional, that is logical colours, green for vegetation, blue for water. Also use associative colours, blue for cool, red for warm, and don't use too many. This can be confusing. Usually use no more than 12. Colours look different depending on their background. Areas surrounded by lighter colours look darker, and areas on a dark background look lighter, as the graphic shows. Where you are showing a graded set of results, as in a choropleth map, use a sequence or ramp based on one or two colours. Change the darkness of a single colour rather than choosing different colours.
Okay, then so that's colour. Then there's text, which you are going to put quite lightly onto your map. Text is very important to help explain what the map is about, or at least to emphasise particular results, or even just to give geographic context. So adding place names, for example. You have to consider, as soon as you put text on, how easy it is to read in the medium that you're displaying it on. It's very easy to swamp a map with too much text. And certainly when it's on screen, it's very easy to have text that's too small to read. So think carefully about the font. Keep it simple and easy to read. There's lots of fonts out there that are very fancy and don't work well on maps. So here's a few takeaways, things to remember. Small letters need more intense colours to stand out. The most legible colours for text are black, dark brown, or blue on a white background. The greatest contrast is between black and yellow. And changes in background colour affect legibility. So if you've got a complex image or something as a background, that will have a big impact on the way you can read the text. Most people use colour these days, but there is still an interest in doing maps in black and white. And actually there's quite a trick to this. Certainly if you're going to go down the route of doing black and white only, don't use more than about 6 shades of grey. Otherwise they're really difficult to differentiate. And certainly never use a grey colour that is more than about 70% black, especially if you're going to put text on top of it. Text sizing is also important. You can use it to emphasize features. So the more important it is, the bigger the text. Text can be used to create hierarchies in terms of the understanding of the map. So, a map of the world, the continents would be more important than the countries, which would be more important than capital cities, which would be more important than regional cities. That sort of idea. You can use techniques like highlighting, shadows and things to emphasize the text, but again, don't make it overcomplicated. But also remember, with the new technologies, again, which we'll mention a little later, dynamic and animated text can be very effective.
Lastly, we come on to symbols. Use symbols where you cannot show all the detail you want, or you need to emphasize a particular attribute. And wherever possible, use standard symbols. It makes it quicker and easier for people to interpret. Most of the rules about size, color, and contrast, etc., that apply to text equally apply to symbols. There are symbols for points, lines, and areas. Again, use conventional symbols where you can for ease of interpretation. The things to take into account are qualitative aspects, shape, orientation, color, and quantitative aspects, texture, size, lightness and saturation. If you are designing your own, you can use geometric symbols, conventional symbols like those many of us are familiar with from Ordnance Survey maps, or create what are called mimetic symbols. And these look like the thing they represent. Whether you use standard symbols or make your own, always make sure you explain what they mean in a legend. It's amazing how often people don't. It's also worth bearing in mind that the convention is that maps have north at the top, but this is not always the case. It depends on the area you are interested in. So add information on orientation to help the user as a matter of course.